Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses, and you join me here at Davey Brothers Motorcycles in Ipswich, where today we might finally have an electric motorbike that 125 owners are looking for. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. Now, as you may be aware, I've reviewed VMoto before on the TC Max Pro, which was supposed to do 60 miles an hour for a range of 60 miles, but it didn't meet expectations. However, this one is set to do 75 miles an hour with a range of 90 miles. They did also test it at 28 miles an hour and managed to get a range with a 75 kilo rider of 112 miles. Well, today we're going to see how it performs whilst being pinned with a 100 kilo rider. See how well it does then. The Stash has a rated power of 9 kilowatts and a max power of 16 kilowatts with a 74 volt 97 amp hour battery, and it weighs in at a typical 125 weight of 155 kilos. The battery, which is not removable, is an ATL soft core type, which uses high energy density, high power, fast charging cells with arbitrary shaped cells that are designed to fit in difficult places, like here, where you can't remove it easily. But you do get storage in here once you've got the flap back in. This goes down. There's not enough to put a helmet in there, but there is enough to put, I don't know, a loaf of bread, a pack of 12 curly whirlies, and a pack of 6 Capri Sun, I reckon. Yeah. Nice. Using a 1500 watt charger, the charge time is 5 to 6 hours. With a bigger charger that's available, you can charge the battery in 2.5 hours. It's all very bike sized at 2 meters long, 810 millimeters wide, 1.1 meters tall, with a seat height of 810 millimeters also. I'm 5'10.5" with a 31.5 inch inside leg. Seated on here, it is very comfortable actually. I do notice that the foot pegs are really quite low, so with my feet on them, my knee is very sort of street bike positioned. It's comfortable though. The seat is nice and soft, very bouncy. Good feel on the suspension. I'll talk about that a bit more in a second. But it feels just like a normal bike. Weight-wise, 155 kilos. So again, just like any other 125 bike. And it is quite movable. Doesn't feel heavy or cumbersome. It feels very nimble. And yeah, it feels comfortable. It doesn't feel cheap either. It doesn't look cheap. It feels pretty well put together. Certainly a lot better, I would say, than the former VMoto Super Socco TC Max Pro. I think I've got that right. But yeah, you have got 3 modes on here, 1, 2 and 3, and apparently they actually make a difference. They don't just change the top speed like they did on the previous Super Socco T-Max Pro. But yeah, I like the switch gears, I like this dash as well, and I'll show you that again in a second. Much nicer than the previous version, and everything just feels very 125-esque. Apart from the power, apparently it is a lot quicker and a lot nippier than a 125 combustion bike, and that is what we'll check very soon. But other than that, it all feels very nice. So far, the mirrors are pretty decent. I've got, according to this, looking behind me, about 95% visibility. You've got the nice long mirrors that you get on a lot of bikes. The stalks aren't very long, but they're long enough. I can see probably about 10% worth of arm, and the rest is all road, or what I can see behind me. So that is pretty decent. You get a 240mm front disc, and it's a quad piston caliper. Yes, 4 pistons on that front caliper, with a 230mm rear disc with a double piston caliper. So the brakes are pretty good on paper. And it has dual channel ABS, meaning ABS on the front and the rear. Wrapped around those are 17-inch wheels front and back with a 100 front tyre and a 120 rear tyre. However, they are Pirelli Diablo Rossos. You get upside down forks on the front and a preload adjustable rear monoshock. Lights and indicators are LED on the front and on the rear. And it comes in either black or blue and black, which I think is rather nice actually. Something else that's different about it is that this one, as you'll see, is chain driven, not hub motor driven and not belt driven. So again, it's got that sort of 125-esque feel to it. Yes, it's a bit more maintenance, but a bit more like a 125 combustion engine bike, just quieter and apparently quicker, but we'll find that out later. Now, I apologised, I called it a TC Max earlier. I was actually referring to this, the Super Socko Street Hunter TS Pro. So let me just get that in there for a second. As you can see though, side by side, it's actually quite a bit smaller in height and length. Sitting on it, it does feel like a really small bike. You can see how low I am and how much of a bend in my knee I have. I mean, I can stretch out like that and still be flat-footed. So yeah, it is actually quite a bit smaller. And when you move this out of the way, you can see quite a bit of difference between this and the VMoto STASH. Quite a lot of difference. This definitely feels like a proper 125-esque street bike in comparison to the TS Pro there. But the big question is it any good to ride, and does it do, two questions really, what they say it does? Well, let's get out on the road and find out, shall we? So initially when you turn it on, you get pinkly plonkly noises and a nice logo on the dash and quite a nice dash arrangement. Very clear. It's got a screen cover on that as well, it's very clear. You've got your battery there, that's 14.3 volts at the moment, because it does have a separate battery to run your electrics, so it doesn't take any juice from the main battery that runs the power for the bike. You've got the dual channel ABS there. It does have tyre pressure monitors as well, which is pretty good. It does apparently as well have regenerative braking, so that's quite good. It's done 200 miles in total here. Yeah, let's see what else we've got on here. That's to set it up to your phone. So you've got your tyre pressure learning there, it'll learn your tyre pressures, your temperature units, phone system, whether you want it in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. Display, quite a nice display unit, two different types there. Interesting. I think we'll leave it there. So, despite it having chucked it down all morning, the sun is now out and hopefully the roads will dry a little bit. I've left it in number 1 just to see what that is like, so we'll see how good that is, and wait for these lights to change and then we will be off. Oh, okay. Wow, and we're at 30. Wow. Well, that's actually pretty good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Okay, and that's just in 1. Next set of lights I shall stick it in 3. No, first of all I'll stick it in 2 and we'll see how it does, and then we'll stick it in 3. That's pretty impressive. I did not expect that at all. Seat, as I say, is comfortable. It does feel a little bit odd that the pegs are quite low. Not odd as in it's putting me off, but odd as in it's not something you'd expect. You expect the pegs to be a little bit higher. Well, there you go, you know. We'll see how that makes me feel when I'm taking a roundabout. Another light here, hopefully it'll stay red and I can pull away in 2. Let's put it in 2 now. Yeah, it's definitely quicker. Definitely quicker. That's interesting. Okay, we're in the 40 now. When I come around this roundabout, I'm just going to put it in 3. And I'm going to pull away from the roundabout into the 40-mile-an-hour limit in 3. Got a learner. Maybe not. Mind you, it's just an instructor. Oh no, there's someone sitting beside. Could be here a while. Nope. Okay. What about this one? This is a big enough gap. Go on. Go. Okay, so if we pull off this roundabout and see how it does up the hill, behind another learner. Okay, that's definitely punchy. Now we're coming up to a 60 limit, and let's see how it fares. I'm in third still. 50, 55, 60, have to slow down, although I can overtake, so I will. That's 60, pretty easily to be fair. Back to 40 again. I'm going to put it in number 1 and see what speed it'll do in first, if it hinders the acceleration and top speed. I'm at 95% on my battery power, so we'll see. Obviously we've done 3 miles so far. We'll see what we get in the range or in the test we're doing today. Still 40. So we're now coming to a 60. I'm in 1 still, so we'll see what we get. Okay, so I'm topping out at about 48. Just put it in 2. You can feel it pick up. Now I'm topping out at about, oh wow, yeah, 58. Okay, so 48 in 1, 58 in 2, and we're now coming up to dual carriageway, so I shall stick it in 3, and we'll see what we get on the dual carriageway. As I say, bearing in mind I am 100 kilos in weight, I'm 5'10.5", so I stick up like any normal person really, and we'll see if it hits that 75 mile an hour. Well, we'll see if it hits 70, obviously. As long as it hits 70 and I can feel as though it wants to do more, we'll be alright. A little bit of a whine there from the motor, but oh, tell you what, in 3 it definitely picks up really well. I don't know how greasy these roads are. Nice dry bit there. Alright, let's go. 60, 65, 70, and it'll do more. Okay, wow, that has exceeded my expectations. At 70 mile an hour, I've got a little bit of buffeting. The front wheel feels not light, but you can feel it bobbling around a touch. Not to the state where it's off-putting, not scary. I've got a bit of a wobble on going past that truck, but then I would do probably on any 125, to be honest. And I can sit happily at 70 mile an hour uphill, I might add as well. So downhill I reckon that'll hit 80. I'm not going to do it because I can't, because it's illegal and I don't do anything illegal ever, but we'll see if it maintains 70 going up the hill. Oh, I can't, it's 50 here, look. Well, I think it will. We'll go back the other way in a little while and see if it hits 70 going up the hill. But that has exceeded my expectations. I am extremely pleased with the performance on that. It has pushed me down to 87%. So we'll see what percentage I get in the miles I'm doing. Bearing in mind it said 200 miles to start with, so it's easy to gauge how many miles I do. Let's be honest, whoever has one of these will pin it most of the time. They'll want to ride it in 3, I should imagine, doing most of the power it will allow you to do, unless of course they're riding it around town, and then it's absolutely fine up to 48 miles an hour in 1. So you put it in 1, I don't think you'll have a problem at all. I mean, I can sit at 40 in 3 here, and I shall in sport mode, it says there. 2 is normal, 1 is eco. So as it's a 40, I can sit in eco quite happily with the same sort of acceleration. Not as quick as in 3, that's definitely more rapid, but still a decent acceleration. Do you know what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with this. Obviously Pirelli Diablo tyres, so I've got good grip. So say you don't feel the power surge in 1 out of corners, but you do when you put it in 3 and even 2. So the 1, 2 and 3, unlike the previous Super Socco where all it does is change the top speed you can do, this actually makes quite a bit of difference on the acceleration as well. Great looking dash, very clear, very easy to see. Wow, what an impressive machine. As per normal in the UK, get to the smaller, narrower roads and it goes from a 40 to a 60. And it's wetter. So I'm going to take it cautiously. Oh, hello. Ah, interesting. Oh, okay. Well, this is fun. The joys of English country roads. Oh, that Seat Arosa is an automatic, really? Not only do you have a 1997 Seat Arosa, but it's an automatic. Oh, you must have given up on life to drive something like that. You just don't care, do you? It's only about transport, nothing else. Oh, what a pleasant little outcome. It's not a cliff, but it's definitely a boatyard. Sorry?
It's very quiet.
It's electric. I'm just filming it for the day. That's not bad. It's the equivalent of a 125, but yeah, it's definitely quite impressive. Well, that's a good sign. I stopped there to turn round and started chatting to a couple because they liked the look of it. They recognised that it was electric because it was quiet, but they thought it looked good, and they were impressed when I told them about the figures of what it does. So that's quite a good sign, isn't it? Doesn't look like a child's toy. It doesn't look like an electric bike. They only knew it was electric because of the zero sound to it. So I have to say now it's done 210, so I've done 10 miles, a lot of it in gear 1, and it's only gone from 85, was it, to 83%. So you stick it in gear 1, you don't use anywhere near as much battery. Going down this back road, it's quite bumpy. Suspension is doing its job very well, sort of handling it really nicely, but no issues here whatsoever, to be honest, in terms of the comfortability. It's not wobbling my voice about, and it's a typical country back road, so it's quite bumpy. Road's about to get narrower, so obviously we get a 60-mile-an-hour limit. Stick it in 3 and see what it's like up the hill. Yeah. Oh, whoa, sugar. That's very muddy in the middle there. Mind you, I mean, I may have moved around a bit, but it didn't give out, so
Yeah, not bad. Take it easy on these corners. Yeah, wet mud down the middle of the road, never good. Picks up really well. Oh, bit of a swish on there. Maybe I should go back and find a road that isn't a back road and isn't covered in divots and mud. Might be a good idea, mightn't it? Seems to be getting worse as the further I get. Ah, yes. Yeah, I don't fancy getting... I am wet now just from the few odd little puddles. I don't really want to get soaking wet. Do you know what? That is a pretty decent machine. I did not expect it to be that good at all. I'm really impressed with that. It's got a great look to it. Obviously there's no sound. Feels comfortable. Handles everything really well. And it does decent speed. I'm now at 81% battery. I've done 11 miles. If you have it in number 3, it's definitely going to hinder the performance. And I don't think in 3, at 75 miles an hour, it'll do 90 miles. And the reason I say that is because in 3 different modes where I've been playing around with it, I've used 19% of battery in 11 miles. So work that out for yourself. Price wise, it is around £1,400 more than a KTM Duke at £6,299, so it's not cheap. But the big question and consideration is, it is electric, so planet friendly. Less maintenance, quicker than most 125s on the road these days. You do have to maintain the chain still, but with a larger cost outlay, there are many savings, I think, to be had on regular maintenance, fuel and oil and so on. So is this enough to make you want to change from a combustion to electric? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now what I am going to do is, there's a boost button here. It's got cruise control as well on there. And you just push that button at whatever speed you're at and it sets the cruise control. I'm going to stick it in 3. And then I'm going to accelerate, and then I'm going to push the boost button. Interestingly, as I've been riding, it's learnt my style of riding and it's given me a range. So with 81% battery, this is telling me I've got 39 miles of range left. In 2, it doesn't tell me unless I ride, I guess. I'm going to leave it in 3, see what the acceleration's like, and see if this boost does anything. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now if I'm going along and I hit boost, I don't think anything happens really. Doesn't seem to make a lot of difference pushing that boost button. So as I head back, you can see I've now done 20 miles and I'm at 63% battery. So I can see if you're in 1 mode, yes, it'll do the range. If you are riding around town and 30 mile an hour limits only, I can see that you will get around about 90 to 100 mile range. If, like me, you need to go on 50 and 60 and even 70 mile an hour roads, then I should imagine you'll be in 3 most of the time, and you'll probably get, I would say, around sort of 45 to 50 mile range if you are pinning it most of the way. However, on a mixed journey, I would say on a mixed journey you would probably get around 60 to 70 miles, I would say. Don't quote me on that, obviously, but It depends on the rider weight. As I say, I am 16 stone or 100 kilos. So some people are heavier than me, some people are lighter than me. And that's not too bad, I don't think. You know, I don't think that's too bad at all, getting that kind of range, 60 to 70 miles on a bike that'll do 70 miles an hour. The big question, as I say, is it worth the price? And that brings me to the end of this episode of Motors for the Masses. Thank you for joining me. Thank you very much once again to Davy Brothers Motorcycles in Ipswich for housing this bike, and thank you for VMoto for sending it down for me, so I can do this review on it. I am very impressed, to be honest. Is it something that I would spend £6,300 on? I don't know. That's something for you to decide, I feel. If you want an electric bike that will do what a 125 should do, and let's be honest, a lot of 125s are sort of 60-65 mile an hour machines now, but if you want a 125 that'll do 125 stuff, £6,300 is the price for this VMoto Stash, and if you want to pay that, then there you go. I mean, it is, you know, £1,400 more than the likes of a KTM Duke, but it is a good looking bike. It is environmentally friendly. It is the way forward because electric is coming, unfortunately, and there you go. I think it's a very good bike. Really impressed with it. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back next time with something else. So until next time, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye bye.